how big are the round sizes when startups grow? Before I go into the standard, the average, the statistics, of course I have to say that it varies enormously from company to company. And the second thing I want to say is that now we're talking about growth companies that are capable of getting a lot of rounds. So this is a very small fraction of all the startup companies in the world. Most companies, the vast majority of companies, cannot get these rounds and will not see these numbers. But let's start with the seed round. When we consider the valuation method for very early stage companies, you very often, if they're the kind of companies that can get into incubators and can get, for instance, funding from qualified angels and seed funds, you will often look at first, after the pre-seed, you will look at valuations around maybe $2.5–3 million in many cases. Some of it coming from it being a good team, it being a great idea, having some traction, having some commitment from some partners maybe to support it down the line. So let's say if it's 2.5 million, you do around about 30% dilution of the founders or the first shareholders, and you get up to 3.3 million after the funding. So 2.5 million pre, 3.3 million post would not be unusual. Then following that, you go through the valley of death. Maybe there are rounds inside that. If not, perhaps it dies. But if it makes it and it gets to the A round, the statistics that I have seen suggest that A rounds are typically around $7 million on average. But again, typically it means that this is the center of a whole lot of rounds that have been with very different numbers. 7 is not unusual. The B round comes later, and even though the company is closer to profitability or might even be profitable at that stage, the amounts they're bigger because the company just has more scope and there's more justification for stepping on the speeder. So the average round there is about 5 to 10. 12 is like a central number. The C round, then we're up to around 20 million, perhaps a bit more, and the D round 30 million or so. And then there are companies, of course, that do E, F, and so on. And if they do that, then it's quite likely that the numbers are even higher. But these are companies that have very big scope or have very big capital requirements. But these are the indicative numbers. Also indicative is that dilution every time is about 30%. It can be anything else, but very typical is that you have 30% dilution when each of these rounds are done.